So a lot of investigations going on right now. And speaking of self-driving cars, that's where China wants to gain dominance, among other areas. But 2018 may be the year that is the undoing of Made in China 2025, which happens to be China's nationalistic push to gain global dominance across sort of technology of tomorrow, artificial intelligence, microchips. That's if President Trump's tariffs do what he hopes they will do. They're designed to drive a wedge into that strategy by slowing down the transfer of U.S. know-how to China and limiting partnerships with Chinese firms. Fox News contributor Robert Wolf, former CEO and chairman of UBS Americas, joining us at a Fox Business exclusive, CEO of 32 Advisors. The president had just announced last week $60 billion tariffs, all kinds of things focused at Chinese goods. But we need to go beyond the $12 Chinese-made polo shirt, don't we? If they're going to have this, hey, by 2025, we're going to own artificial intelligence.
Well, you and I spoke about it a few years ago. In 2015, China decided to start this thing called the Fourth Industrial Revolution, where it would be about a 10-year plan, where they would become the dominant player in high tech. And high tech is not just in artificial intelligence and virtual reality and autonomy, but it's also how you look at agriculture, manufacturing. And so I think there's kind of three prongs for us to attack this. One is let's build our best own domestic programs by getting our skills up, innovation center, opportunity zones. That way we can make sure we're the best in class. I think the second part is we have to continue with a tough CFIUS process. Which the president does have a tough one, especially with respect to China.
That's the Government Office for Foreign Investment.
Foreign investment. Right. Now, that doesn't mean put up barriers so we don't have foreign direct investment, but that means make sure that China can't buy instead of build.
But can I jump in here?
Yep.
We're looking at a market that's down nearly 500 points now.
Yep.
Charlie had surmised that maybe it is the continuing worry about a trade war with China. And what the president seeks to do is to make sure that they don't... I'm using a lot of quotes these days, partner with U.S. companies. We've seen what comes of that. They partner with the U.S. company to allow the U.S. company into China to do business there and to sell to that huge population. Yeah. And in turn, they steal or borrow or mimic the intellectual property or the ideas or the technology.
Well, a couple things. One, we're going to have to continue to be tough on sanctions. I think tariffs are one way to look at it, although I'm not for trade wars. We've talked about that. Another one where people are talking is looking at the Economic Espionage Act. If they're actually stealing our privacy, if they're stealing our intellectual theft, allow companies and individuals to actually sue.
Which Manitowoc, remember Manitowoc, the crane company? They took it to an international court, and they actually won because the Chinese initially were saying, bring your cranes in, sure, help us build our skyscrapers. They took and mimicked the technology, and then they booted Manitowoc and slapped tariffs on it.
Now, as someone who was on President Obama's export council, the best way to attack this would have been to continue with the Trans-Pacific Partnership, because that is having trade with the 11 countries away from China. The best thing to a way to attack China is make sure you're strong with all the other countries, which is why when I was speaking with you and Charlie and Charles Payne, the idea of trade wars, that is not the way to go. We don't want to actually go that route. We actually just want to make sure we're protecting our own. And I think, listen, I think you got to be tough with sanctions.
Okay, well, you brought up President Obama. President Obama had barred U.S. government operations, the FBI, CIA, any office, from using Chinese-made, specifically Huawei, phones and networking equipment. They make phones now. They also compete with Cisco. He had barred those government offices, and he also recommended, as I understand, that companies would be in big trouble in the U.S. and could not do business with the U.S. government if they bought Huawei phones.
Well, actually, for years...
And Trump is taking that baton and running with it.
Yeah, I mean, for years, all the government officials continued with BlackBerry, and then they moved to, Apple products. But for the most part, they never allowed that type of, technology to be used in any type of foreign or governmental use.
You're the chairman of a drone company. The Chinese have a huge drone company. They call themselves the market leaders. What, DJI?
Yep, DJI has about a 75% market share.
So I'm thinking about you.
In the drone manufacturing.
If I were smart, I'd like to do business with them, sell my intellectual ideas and stuff to the Chinese or partner with them. But wouldn't you be worried to do something like that?
No, listen. We're not a hardware player, so our clients, we have to use the best hardware possible. So we're going to use DJI, we're going to use Intel, we're going to use, Boeing.
You're not worried that DJI would snatch or mimic some of your...
Well, if they want to buy us, they can buy us, but we're in the service space, so we have to use our products that's best for the client. That being said, there is no question there has been a lot of discussion about DJI having kind of a monopoly on the drone space. And our view is, technology will continue to mature, drone technology will continue to mature. You can't count Intel, Boeing, Airbus out.